Hey guys, this is Change of Heart, and in this video I will talk about a few of the new animes this April and whether they are worth the time watching. Now this review does not include every new anime of the season. I picked a few where I felt like I can make a correct judgment on whether it'll be worth your time watching. The rest of the anime will be included later in part 2 and maybe part 3. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. First on the list, Cattle: The Right Answer. Science fiction, supernatural, along with a bit of philosophy. 2 episodes so far. Kojiro Shindo, director of policy planning, is taking a flight with one of his assistants. Suddenly, a huge cube falls from the sky and lands on the shore near the airport, swallowing nothing else but the plane Shindo was on. After Shindo recovers conscience from the crash, he finds that all the passengers are still alive. Soon, an ordinary-looking man with superpowers named Zashinina emerges from the cube and tells Shindo he wants to negotiate with the humans. Shindo becomes interested in the situation and agrees to help Zashinina with his advancement of the world. Meanwhile, outside the cube, humans are giving all they have in order to break into the cube, however nothing ends up working. A few hours later, Zashinina and Shindo emerge from the cube telling humans that they have 3 hours to set up a communication line. Alright guys, so here is finally where it gets really interesting. The negotiator the Japanese government selects is Tsukai Saraka, 17-year-old chick that probably just came back from her high school grad trip.
仕事です。
はい。
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so episode 2 ends as Zashinina and Shindo appear from the cube again to speak to the humans. This anime might not seem so attractive at first because, yeah, there are like a million ways for a sci-fi to be more interesting than a colorful cube dropping on a plane, right? Well, I managed to keep watching it, and honestly, it was pretty good so far, for a few reasons. Kojiro Shindo is an interesting character, and he is portrayed to be unpredictable and extremely intelligent. Now, Zashinina is even more interesting. His first attempts to communicate really gave me the chills. Guys, just take a look at the expressions. Yeah, and yeah, we have no idea what this guy's goal is so far. I mean, he learns human language just by scanning through a cell phone, so who knows what this guy is capable of doing, right? Aside from the characters, the plot is pretty intense, or I would say the build-up of the tension is high enough to keep me interested. The animation comes in 3D, sort of like Ajin or Demi-Human. You guys probably seen that, but even better. If you've seen other 3D animes, you'll realize this one does a pretty good job. The music is also decent and fits the atmosphere, the serious atmosphere I was talking about. Now, this anime has a pretty low rating on my anime list, which is not necessarily accurate, but probably has a reason for it. I'm assuming the plot will start turning more philosophical later. It might just end up being about how Zashinina gets along with the humans. At least that's what it looks like, telling from the cover. Okay, so in conclusion, I wouldn't say this anime is bad. It's actually quite good so far. And you definitely should take a look at it to see if it fits your taste. But you probably shouldn't have too much expectations on it. Score-wise, I would say 7.5 out of 10 so far. Alright, next up, Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor. 2 episodes so far, typical magical school setting. Sistine and Rumia, 2 of the main female characters, are attending a magical academy. One day, on the way to school, they run into an extreme narcissist named Glenn, who molests Rumia on first appearance and even takes a peek under her skirt. And of course, he ends up being the sensei of the class the girls are in. So the story builds up from there, and in episodes 1 and 2, Glenn transforms from a total amateur in magic who loses a duel to Sistine into a boss who was hiding his power all along in order to save the humanity from Titans and... Wait, that's another anime. Oh, in this one he actually saves Sistine as her underwear was about to be ripped off.
やめてください。お願い。
Alright, so to be honest, I would say this anime is not bad, alright? There is quite a bit of fan service going on, but there isn't like too much that it fucks up the whole story. And after watching the first 2 episodes, it does make me want to keep watching. There are many things to be discovered, such as the reason mages were attacking the academy and taking Rumia as hostage, the true identity of Glenn, and of course why the reason Sarissa is head over heels for Glenn. By the way, this babe is a super powerful mage that forced Glenn to be the substitute teacher at the academy. Too bad she appears to be just a side character. Of course, this anime definitely isn't epic or anything, but I think it will be definitely watchable and quite interesting. The characters are designed pretty well. I really like how the two girls are sort of the more mature but also cute type, unlike some crazy bitches in other anime. I think hime dere is what you call it, or something dere. To be honest, I don't really know the anime terms, and yeah, ironically, I'm doing an anime review. Back to where I was, I think Sistine is sort of cute, and I like Glenn. It feels like he's gonna be a responsible guy that does some pretty impressive things. Sometimes it's hard to differ between an okay-ish anime and a really bad anime where the story never really progresses and everything is just a sidekick to fan service or humor. But I think Bastard Magic Instructor will be an okay-ish anime. Additionally, the drawing style is pretty well-rounded. It may seem pretty simple, but I noticed the eyes really expresses a lot in this anime. So yeah, if you have time, definitely take a look and chillax. Score-wise, 7.3 out of 10 so far. Alright, next on the list is Armed Girls Machiavellism. I think that's how you read it. 2 episodes so far, and looks like it's turning into a harem. Basically, there's this academy that was originally a girls-only school, then it became co-ed, and the girls were being taken advantage of. And finally, of course, the girls ruled over the guys by bringing weapons, and on top of everyone, there's the organization called the Five Swords, formed by the 5 strongest chicks, and all the men in the school become slaves. Then there's this transfer student, Nomura Fudo, the main character. And of course, he's not gonna buy this shit, right? And he refuses to follow the rules set by the school. The story builds up upon this and basically talks about how Nomura Fudo defeats all the girls of the 5 swords, does something sexual on accident during every fight, and makes all the girls fall in love with him. In the first 2 episodes, he already takes down Rin, the head of the 5 swords, and 2 other side characters. In the first fight, he steals the chick's first kiss, and in the other one, it almost looks like he was going to give a spanking. It was amazing. Just by the ending of episode 2, it looks like this pattern will continue in the majority of this anime, as not many other themes or problems have been revealed. Overall, I don't have a clear conclusion for this anime yet, but I don't really recommend it so far, simply because it's not very interesting to watch after a while. Not only does it not seem to have a real storyline, each individual episode isn't very rich with content. As for the characters, there are some likable characters, such as Rin, but there are also some annoying bitches that will make you wonder why the hell the author even bothered to create them. Now, there's the flip side to this anime. The main guy, Nomura Fudo, is actually pretty cool, and he actually has a character. I mean, he's pretty smart, he's unpredictable, and he's good at fighting. And of course, his ultimate attack, Spirit Bomb, really satisfies me every time he uses it. So although I said earlier that there were no other problems revealed in this anime, Fudo does have some mystery in him. We don't know why he is so strong and why he has the Spirit Bomb, and why he escaped from his old academy. There is also another mysterious character, Kiru, who is the Empress of the academy, someone above even the 5 swords, and apparently she has some secret with Fudo. This anime could end up being quite interesting and different from other harems if there is a twist of events, so we'll have to see. However, I still included it in today's list because I feel like it's another anime not worth watching. However, if you have some time to kill and you are interested in seeing girls with strong willpower eventually submit to an even more dominant male, you should at least take a look at the first few episodes. Score-wise, 6.8 out of 10 so far. Next on today's list is Rinai Boku. Alright guys, boring ass anime. Alright, boring ass anime. Don't even look at it. It's like the worst thing Wait, hold on, I forgot to watch episode 2. Alright, be right back guys, be right back.
ないとか言ってたのに。
そうよ。だから今の予定としては私が大学出て野球で安定したとこに就職した頃かなって。教師なんて発給。
Just kidding. Back to the review. Rinai Bokun is a comedy/romance anime. 2 episodes so far. We begin by learning about the Kiss Note, which obviously came from the Death Note, as the main male character Seiji even mentions it. Basically, it functions the same way as the Death Note, but instead makes people kiss. It's kind of a harem, but not exactly, because not all the girls are falling for Seiji, just a few, and the story isn't based on this either. In episode 1, the girls are introduced one by one, and somehow each of them end up making out with Seiji, and there are like 7 kiss scenes total in episode 1. It's a slice of life anime, and each episode kind of exists by itself, and after episode 1, I thought to myself, this anime really sucks because not only was there no emotional ties at all, the humor isn't even funny. I mean, they try to liven it up by making characters look like this, and this, and like this, but it makes it even worse. But then, episode 2 made me change my mind. The story shifts from being absolute nonsense into something watchable. The group starts to use the Kiss Note to help those people in love be accepted by who they admire and become a couple. What saved this episode, in my opinion, was instead of focusing on the main characters switched to become Kusunoki Sensei, a teacher at the school, and Mary, Seiji's class representative. The crew finds out the teacher has fell in love with Mary and devises a hero saves heroine plan in order to get Mary to accept Sensei's love. Of course, the plan turns into a huge disaster, but in the end, they become couples. What's important is that the process is very appealing to watch as the series of events becomes very messy and gets all over the place. It differs slightly from a typical comedy, and the humor starts to hit me a bit as the number of characters increase, so it isn't like focused on one character that becomes boring after like a few minutes. The music changes like really dramatically, like 8 times during one scene, and toward the end, I could feel some emotions from this anime. In my opinion, in order for this anime to be good, it definitely needs to introduce some more characters with meaning in them. The main female characters, Guri, Akane, and Yuzu, are really boring. It's not because I'm biased against them or something, I just think they were meant to be portrayed as somewhat of an empty shell. Now, that's fine as long as new characters appear such as Mary, not to mention she's my favorite character so far.
けど、このままだとちょっとややこしいことに。
なんだ、茜を遠ざけて私に告白でもするのかと思った。
Now that's my girl. Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean if you watch it. She's not the one who always pulls knives out of her panties to murder someone who touched her crush, or the bitch that no one knows why she belongs in this anime. That's about all I have to say for Rinai Bokun. I think this one has potential to be a pretty decent slice of life. If you're into that, take a look, but if you are looking for an anime with an actual storyline and more meaning in it, then just ignore this anime. Score-wise, 7 out of 10 so far. Okay, so for this one, probably many of you will disagree, but it's okay, I'm just not really into comedy. Last but not least, Boku no Hero Academia 2nd season. Super quick recap, basically it's an action superpower anime where 80% of people have quirks or unique superpowers. Izuku, the main character, was born without a quirk, leaving him powerless. He admired All Might, a well-known hero of the century that has a unique quirk that can be inherited. During one occasion, All Might sees the bravery in Izuku and chooses him as his successor, passing his quirk to Izuku. Now that all happened in the 1st season. The 2nd season starts off with the sports competition where students at the Hero Academia can prove themselves to the world, and the competition is currently going on. Now, many of you might be wondering if you should take the time to watch the 1st season if you haven't yet. And my answer to that is no, you don't have to watch the 1st season. Why? Because I didn't even watch the 1st season. Wait, that's the worst possible reason. What I'm trying to say is I haven't even watched the 1st season, and I can pick up the 2nd season perfectly without feeling that I missed out on something big. For example, if you start watching, let's say, Attack on Titan Season 2, you'll have no idea what's happening, and you know you probably missed some plot advancements and epic moments from Season 1. Now for Boku no Hero Academia, I'm guessing the first season was probably mostly foreshadowing and build up on Izuku finally being able to acquire a superpower. And of course, along with the intro to other characters and their powers. I started on season 2 and I basically understood immediately that there's a school filled with kids with superpowers trying to become heroes. Okay, I might be like completely wrong about this, okay? Maybe season 1 is like super epic, so yeah. But if you want to start from season 2, you can definitely follow along. Now, enough of that. About the anime, it's good, but it's not like super good. It's just one of those typical shonen anime. Kids have superpowers, and some pretty epic fights will happen. The main character is weak, but slowly becomes stronger throughout the story. The other characters include some pretty cool people as well. Out of the typical shonen, this one stands out a bit simply because there's quite a bit of emotional ties with the characters. Izuku talks to himself a lot and we get to see his growth throughout the story. Personally, I don't see this anime as being like very epic. Like for example, some moments in Fairy Tail where Natsu really burns it up, right, with his speech. Okay, that was actually a bad example because Fairy Tail gets generic, but I'll talk about actual epic anime in a later video. Okay, so for Boku no Hero Academia, I don't see it happening with Izuku's personality. Now, this isn't a bad thing because we get to feel more of the other emotions. The drawing style is fine, it's a bit cartoony, animation is good, music is good, definitely worth the time to watch. Score-wise, 8 out of 10 so far. Alright guys, so that was the 5 animes in today's list. But before I end, I would like to quickly mention 2 more anime that I will only talk about briefly. The first one, Quanzhi Gaoshou, because I already did a review on this one, and Attack on Titan, because you already know about it, right? And there's like a bunch of reviews out there already. Quanzhi Gaoshou, or The King's Avatar, definitely, alright, definitely watch it. If you want to see my review on episode 1, I'll have the link in the description. I remember I gave it an 8.5 or something, but now that was only episode 1. Okay, yesterday I just finished episode 3, and trust me guys, it's fucking good. Like, I was wrong about the animation. It was better than I predicted, but that doesn't even matter that much. The whole story and the emotional ties with the character is absolutely amazing. And yeah, guys, it's a Chinese anime, and it's dubbed in Chinese, but really it doesn't matter because just watching the English subtitles, it should still be amazing. It's really, really good. It's rated at like 7.7 on my anime list, which is absolutely bullshit. Just trust me. The second one will be Attack on Titan Season 2. So many of you, just like me, already read the manga and know what happened. So the question is this anime still worth the time watching? And yes, it is. So the production is amazing, graphics, sound, animation, whatever you call it, it's epic. Okay, honestly, I don't even like Attack on Titan. Actually, I think the storyline is very average. I think Eren is a very boring and weak-minded character, and Mikasa, who was one of my favorite girls, doesn't do anything. So some of you may feel the same way, some of you may not, but it doesn't matter because the scenes in Attack on Titan Season 2 will reach your emotions and be impactful. Okay, an example would be Mikey's death. It was extremely gruesome, really portrays the fear in human, especially when the ape Titan talks to him. It was amazing. And another example would be when Sasha throws her bow away, mans up, goes right at the Titan. That scene really gave me the chills. To wrap this up, I'm going to give a completely biased opinion on which anime is worth your time from the best to the worst. Okay, so tied at number 1, Attack on Titan, only if you haven't read the manga already, and Quanzhi Gaoshou, or King's Avatar. Number 2, Boku no Hero Academia Season 2. Third, Bastard Magic Instructor. Fourth, Kato, the right answer. Fifth, Rinai Bokun, and at last place for today's part 1, Armed Girls Machiavellism. Alright guys, that's it. And yeah, this video lasted for like 20 minutes. It's probably too long. I'm probably gonna try to leave out some like irrelevant stuff in the future. But if you're still watching this video at this point, thank you so much for staying along. I'll see you in part 2. enjoy some anime.